Commander Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the starship Aurora and watched the endless stars through the main screen. His crew had been out here for 6 months now on a deep space mission to map new star systems. The work was boring but important. For Earth's growing space program, Lieutenant Amy Walsh sat at her communications station, running routine scans of radio frequencies. She had done the same job every day for months and expected nothing different today. The universe seemed quiet and empty as always, but today was different. Enemy's equipment picked up something strange. A signal came from far away that was not random space noise. It had patterns and structure like a message. She adjusted her controls and listened more carefully. Commander Morrison, Amy called out, "I'm getting something weird here." Jake walked over to her station and looked at the data on her screen. The signal was definitely artificial, but it was not from Earth or any human ship. The patterns were too complex and organized to be natural. "Can you clean it up?" Jake asked me. Worked on the signal for an hour. Slowly it became clearer. What they heard made no sense at first. It was not in any human language, but it had the rhythm and flow of speech. Lisa Grant came to the bridge when Amy called her. Lisa was the ship's expert on languages and communication. She studied the strange signal patterns while Amy recorded everything. "This is definitely a language," Lisa said after listening for a while, "but it's not from Earth. The structure is completely different from any human language." Chief Engineer Carl Brooks joined them on the bridge. He was curious about the technical aspects of the signal. The transmission used technology that was far ahead of anything humans had built. "Look at this," Carl said, pointing at his scanner readings. "This signal is coming from at least 50 light years away, but it's still clear and strong. We don't have transmitters that powerful." The four of them worked together for hours, trying to understand what they had found. Lisa slowly began to recognize patterns in the alien language. Some sounds repeated in ways that suggested important meanings. As the day went on, they learned more. The signal was not just one message, but many messages between different sources. It was like listening to a conversation between multiple speakers. But the speakers were not human. "I think I'm starting to understand some of this," Lisa said late in the evening. "There are words that keep coming up. One sounds like it might mean world or planet, and another might mean species or race." Jake ordered the ship to stay in position and keep recording. This was the most important discovery in human history. They had found proof that intelligent aliens existed and were actively communicating with each other. Over the next 3 days, Lisa worked almost without sleep to decode more of the language. Carl analyzed the technical aspects of the transmissions, and Amy recorded everything they could intercept. What they learned was terrifying. The aliens were not just talking to each other casually. They were part of something called the Galactic Council. This was a group of 12 different alien species that worked together to control a large part of the galaxy wars. Then that the Council knew about Earth and had been watching humans for hundreds of years. They had detailed information about human technology and society. They knew exactly how advanced humans were and how fast human technology was growing. But the worst discovery was still to come. In the 4th day, Lisa finally decoded enough of the language to understand complete sentences. What she learned made her hands shake as she called the others to the bridge. "They're planning to destroy Earth," she said in a quiet voice. "The Council has voted to eliminate humanity before we can develop faster space travel." The alien messages talked about humans like they were dangerous animals that needed to be put down. The Council believed that humans were too aggressive and violent to be allowed to spread to other worlds. Plan was simple and horrible. Council ships would use antimatter weapons to attack Earth's sun. The solar bombardment would destroy all life on Earth within days. No humans would survive. If timeline was just as terrifying as the plan itself. The Council fleet would arrive at Earth in 6 months. They were already on their way. Jake stared at the decoded messages on Lisa's screen. Earth had 6 months before an alien fleet would arrive to commit genocide against the entire human race. No one on Earth knew the danger was coming. Aurora was just one small ship with a crew of 40 people. How could they possibly stop an entire galactic civilization from destroying humanity? But Jake knew they had to try. Gathered his senior crew in the conference room and explained their options. They could try to warn Earth, but the aliens would detect their transmissions and know that humans had discovered their plan. The Council might speed up their timeline and attack sooner. They could try to stop the alien fleet themselves. It seemed impossible, but it might be humanity's only chance. We're going to fight, Jake told his crew. I know it sounds crazy, but we have to try. If we can slow them down or damage their ships, it might give Earth time to prepare. Carl spoke up. First, the alien technology is way ahead of ours, but we've learned a lot from studying their signals. Maybe we can find weaknesses. Amy nodded. I can try to intercept more of their communications. If we know where they are and what they're planning, we might have an advantage. Lisa looked determined despite her fear. I'll keep working on their language. The more we understand, the better we can fight them. Jake felt proud of his crew, but also terrified of what they were about to attempt. They were going to war against aliens who had technology hundreds of years ahead of Earth's best. Science bit. They were human, and humans never gave up without a fight. Admiral Helen Parker was having her morning coffee when the priority message arrived at Earth Defense Command. The quantum communicator had only been tested a few times and was supposed to be used only for the most urgent situations. The message came from Commander Morrison aboard the Aurora, 50 light-years from Earth. What he reported made Helen drop her coffee cup. Within an hour, every important leader on Earth knew about the alien threat. President William Hayes called an emergency meeting with world leaders, while military commanders across every nation prepared for something that had never happened before. General Steve Collins commanded the secret military space program that most people did not know existed. For 20 years, various governments had been quietly building weapons and ships in hidden facilities around the solar system. No, those secret projects would have to save humanity. Nathan Cross worked in the underground laboratory complex beneath the Rocky Mountains. He was Earth's best expert on advanced physics and had spent years trying to understand how faster-than-light travel might work. When Morrison's data arrived, Nathan knew he was looking at technology that was centuries ahead of human science. The alien ships used energy sources that humans could barely imagine, and weapons that could destroy entire planets, but humans were good at learning from their enemy. Nathan gathered every scientist and engineer he could find. They had 6 months to understand alien technology well enough to build weapons that could fight it. It seemed impossible, but they had to try. Meanwhile, Maya Rodriguez led the engineering teams at the secret construction facilities hidden in asteroids throughout the solar system. Maya had designed most of Earth's best spacecraft, but now she needed to build something completely different. Data from Morrison's scans showed that alien ships used energy shields to protect themselves from attacks. Maya's team had to figure out how to build similar shields for human ships and how to build weapons that could break through alien defenses. In the first month after Morrison's warning, the entire world changed in ways that most people could not see. Money and resources flowed to secret military projects at a rate never seen before, and human history. Nations that had been enemies for decades suddenly shared their most classified technologies. Russian nuclear scientists worked alongside American engineers, while Chinese manufacturers built components designed by European researchers. World's best pilots received mysterious orders to report to training facilities that officially did not exist. Captain Ryan Foster was one of hundreds of military officers who found themselves learning to fly spacecraft that were more advanced than anything the public knew. Abu Tryan had been a test pilot for experimental aircraft, but the ships he trained on now were designed to fight in deep space against enemies with superior technology. The training was brutal, and many pilots could not handle the stress, but those who survived became Earth's first space fighter. Jocelyn Murphy worked as a diplomat for the United Nations, but her new job was unlike anything in human history. She had to prepare for first contact with aliens who wanted to kill every human alive. Ellen studied everything Morrison had learned about alien languages and cultures. If there was any chance to negotiate with the Council, she had to be ready. But she also knew that diplomacy might not be enough. Secret construction projects worked around the clock to build Earth's first real space navy. Hidden factories in the asteroid belt built ships that looked nothing like the slow cargo vessels that most people thought represented humanity's space program. New warships had weapons designed to punch through alien shields and armor that could survive energy weapons They were not as advanced as Council ships, but they were built by humans who refused to give up. President Hayes made the hardest decision any world leader had ever faced. He could not tell the public about the alien threat because mass panic would make it impossible to prepare Earth's defenses. Instead, he quietly moved critical industries underground and began programs to spread humanity to hidden colonies throughout the solar system. If Earth was destroyed, some humans might survive to rebuild or cross-made breakthrough. After breakthrough, as his team studied Morrison's data, human technology jumped forward by decades. In just a few months, new materials science led to stronger armor, while advances in energy physics created more powerful weapons. But the most important discovery came from studying alien communications. The Council species were not united in their decision to destroy humanity. Some of them had voted against the genocide plan. This gave Ellen Murphy hope that she might be able to divide the Council against itself if some aliens could be convinced that humans deserved to live. The unified attack might fall apart. Maya Rodriguez supervised the construction of 40 warships. In the first 4 months after Morrison's warning, each ship carried the best weapons and defenses that human science could build. The ships were small compared to alien vessels, but they were fast and hard to hit. More importantly, they were crewed by humans who were fighting for their home, and their familiar training programs expanded as quickly as ships could be built. Former military pilots like Alex Morgan and Diana Price learned to command spacecraft in battles that would determine the fate of their species. In the ground, Air Force Colonel Peter Kane prepared atmospheric defenses for the battles that would come when alien ships reached Earth. Fighter jets were modified with new weapons, while surface installations received shields based on alien technology. The secret space stations that had been built over the past 20 years were upgraded with the most powerful weapons human science could create. Admiral Parker knew that these fortifications would be humanity's first line of defense. As the months passed, the solar system filled with hidden weapons and defenses. Orbital platforms surrounded Earth, while automated defense systems were placed throughout the asteroid belt. But everyone knew that it might not be enough. Aliens had been building their civilization for thousands of years, while humans had known about the threat for only months. The technology gap was enormous, and the Council fleet would have hundreds of ships till humans prepared to fight. In the final month before the Council's arrival, Morrison sent another message. His ship had been conducting hit-and-run attacks on alien supply convoys and had learned valuable intelligence about Council tactics. The aliens expected to find Earth defenseless and unprepared. They planned to destroy human civilization quickly and efficiently without losing many of their own ships. They did not know that humans had been preparing for war. Morrison also reported that some Council species were having second thoughts about the genocide plan. The cost of the military operation was higher than expected, and some aliens questioned whether humans were really as dangerous as the war faction claimed. This information gave human leaders hope that they might survive the coming battle if they could make the attack costly enough. Some Council species might decide that destroying humanity was not worth the price. President Hayes addressed his military commanders for the last time before the battle. His words were simple, but they carried the weight of human history. "We are about to fight for the survival of our species," he said. "The enemy has better technology and more ships, but we have something they do not understand. We have the will to fight for our home and our future no matter what the cost." The alien ship appeared at the edge of Earth's solar system, like a silver needle against the black of space. Ambassador Vextel of the Zephyrian Empire stood on the bridge of his diplomatic vessel and looked toward the small blue planet that the Council had marked for destruction. Vextel expected to find a primitive world with no defenses and no knowledge of what was coming. The humans should have been going about their daily lives, completely unaware that they had only days left to live. Instead, his sensors detected something that made his blood run cold. Earth was surrounded by defensive platforms and armed space stations. Dozens of warships moved information around the planet, while weapons that his scanners could barely identify tracked his ship's movement. The humans knew they were coming. Captain Ryan Foster commanded the Earth defense ship Valor as it moved to intercept the alien vessel. His crew had trained for this moment, but seeing an actual alien ship was different from any simulation. Alien vessel was beautiful in a way that human ships could never match. Its hull seemed to flow like liquid metal while energy fields around it shimmered with colors that had no names. But Foster knew that the beautiful ship carried weapons that could destroy cities. Open a communication channel. Foster ordered his communications officer. First words spoken between humans and aliens were transmitted across the void between their ships. Foster spoke carefully, knowing that the wrong words could start a war that would end with Earth's destruction. Alien vessel, this is Captain Foster of the Earth Defense Ship Valor. State your intentions in our system. The reply came in perfect English, which surprised Foster. The alien had learned human languages by studying Earth's radio transmissions over many decades. Captain Foster, I am Ambassador Vextel of the Galactic Council. I come to offer your species terms for surrender. Foster felt anger rise in his chest, but kept his voice calm. We have no intention of surrendering. Earth is our home, and we will defend it. Vextel was shocked by the humans' response. No species had ever refused the Council's terms before. The consequences of resistance were always too terrible to consider. Captain, you do not understand the situation. The Council has decided that humanity must be relocated for the safety of other species. We are prepared to offer generous terms. Ellen Murphy was aboard the Valor as Earth's representative. For first contact, she had prepared for this moment, but nothing could have prepared her for the reality of talking to an alien who wanted to destroy her species. What are these generous terms? Ellen asked. We will transport 1 million humans to suitable worlds in the outer regions of the galaxy. You will be given territory to build new settlements far from other civilizations. Your species will survive. Ellen felt sick at the alien's casual tone. He was talking about the death of billions of people like it was a simple administrative matter. And the rest of humanity, she asked. The rest will die when Earth is sterilized. This is necessary to prevent your species from developing technology that could threaten other worlds. Foster could barely control his anger. You're talking about genocide. We prefer to think of it as prevention. Vextel replied, your species has shown a level of aggression that the Council finds unacceptable. Left unchecked, humans would eventually become a threat to galactic peace. Ellen spoke with all the diplomatic skill she could manage. Ambassador, surely the Council can see that we are reasonable beings. We have no desire to threaten other species. All we want is the right to exist in our own system. Vextel considered her words. He had studied human history and knew that they were capable of both great violence and great compassion, but the Council had made its decision based on humanity's warlike past. Your history speaks against you. The ambassador said, in your brief existence as a species, you have fought countless wars and developed weapons capable of destroying your own world. The Council cannot risk allowing such a species to spread to other worlds. Foster had heard enough. Our past does not define our future. We have the right to prove ourselves without being judged by aliens who hide in the darkness. The conversation was interrupted when Vextel's escort ships dropped out of hyperspace. 6 Council warships took positions around the diplomatic vessel. While their weapons targeted human defenses, the sight of alien warships filled Foster with dread and excitement. These were the ships that planned to destroy his homeworld, but they were also the enemy he had trained his entire career to fight. Ambassador Foster said, order your ships to stand down. We are here to negotiate, not to fight. Vextel looked at his tactical display and saw something that disturbed him. The human defensive positions were stronger than the Council had expected. Earth's orbital platforms carried weapons that registered as serious threats on alien sensors. More importantly, the humans showed no sign of fear or surrender. Every human ship maintained combat readiness, while their communications channels carried the calm, professional voices of people prepared to fight. Captain Foster, you have impressive defenses for such a young species, but you cannot hope to defeat the Council fleet that is coming. Surrender now and save what remains of your people. Foster's response was immediate and final. No, the single word carried more weight than any diplomatic speech. It told Vextel that humans would rather die fighting than live as prisoners on alien worlds. Ambassador made a decision that he would later regret. He ordered his escort ships to disable the human defenses. As a demonstration of Council power, the battle of first contact lasted only 10 minutes. but it changed the course of galactic history. Foster's valor engaged the lead Council warship while Earth's orbital platforms opened fire on the alien fleet. The humans had studied Morrison's intelligence reports and knew exactly where alien shields were weak. Vextal watched in horror as human weapons punched through Council defensive screens. One of his escort ships suffered serious damage while another was forced to retreat. With its main engines aflynith, aliens had expected to easily destroy human defenses and demonstrate the futility of resistance. Instead, they found themselves in a real fight against enemies who understood their weakness. After 10 minutes of combat, Vextal ordered his ships to retreat. The diplomatic mission had become a military disaster, and he needed to report to the Council immediately. But before his ship jumped to hyperspace, the ambassador sent one final message to Earth. Captain Foster, you have won this engagement, but you have also sealed your world's fate. The Council fleet will arrive in 30 days with 300 warships. Nothing you have built here can stand against such a force. Foster watched the alien ships disappear into hyperspace and knew that the real war was just beginning. But he also knew something that Vextal did not understand. Humans had faced impossible odds before, and they had always found a way to survive. High Admiral Kethmer stood in the command center of his flagship and watched the tactical display show 300 warships from 12 different alien species. The largest fleet in Council history was about to destroy a single primitive world that had dared to resist galactic authority. Each species had contributed their most advanced vessels to ensure that the human threat would be eliminated quickly and completely. The Zephyrian Empire sent their newest battle cruisers, while the Andromedans provided heavy bombardment ships designed to crack planets. Kethmer had fought in dozens of campaigns across the galaxy, but this mission was different. Never before had the Council needed such overwhelming force to deal with a single species. The humans had somehow learned about the Council's existence and prepared defenses that no primitive world should have been able to build. The fleet moved through hyperspace toward Earth's solar system while Kethmer reviewed intelligence reports from Ambassador Vextal's disastrous first contact mission. The humans had weapons that could penetrate Council shields, and the tactical skill to use them effectively. More troubling was the humans' complete refusal to surrender. Every species the Council had ever encountered eventually accepted the reality of their situation and submitted to galactic authority. But humans seemed willing to fight to the death for their worthless little world. Commander Morrison's Aurora had been a constant problem. For the past month, the single human ship conducted hit-and-run attacks on Council supply convoys and communication relays throughout the region. Morrison's crew had become skilled at alien warfare. In ways that should have been impossible, they struck fast and disappeared before Council ships could respond. Several alien captains had been demoted or court-martialed after losing engagements to the small human vessel. But Morrison's greatest contribution was the intelligence he gathered about Council fleet movements and battle plans. Every attack on Council positions provided more information that was transmitted back to Earth through quantum communicators that alien sensors could not detect. In Earth, Admiral Helen Parker watched the approaching alien fleet on her strategic displays while coordinating humanity's final preparations. The orbital defense platforms were armed and ready while Earth's small fleet of warships took position around critical installations. Captain Foster's valor had been joined by 39 other human warships built in the secret facilities throughout the solar system. Each ship carried crews who had trained for months to fight enemies with superior technology. Captain Alex Morgan commanded the second battle group aboard the destroyer Lightning, while Commander Diana Price led the third group. From her ship Thunder, every human vessel was smaller and less powerful than alien warships, but they were crewed by people fighting for their home. The most important element of Earth's defense was invisible to alien sensors. Dr. Nathan Cross had spent months developing quantum disruptor technology based on data from Morrison's intelligence report. Hidden installations throughout the solar system were ready to activate a network that would interfere with alien jump drives. The Council fleet would find itself trapped in normal space and forced to fight at sublight speeds. Where human ships were more competitive, Cross sat in his underground command center and monitored the approach of the alien fleet. His quantum Disruptors had never been tested against real alien ships, but theoretical calculations suggested they would work. The weapon was humanity's greatest secret and possibly their only chance for victory. If the disruptors failed, the Council fleet would be able to jump directly to Earth orbit and destroy the planet before human defenses could respond. On the surface, President Hayes addressed the people of Earth for the first time about the alien threat. He could no longer keep the approaching battle secret, as alien ships would be visible to civilian telescopes. Within hours, his speech was broadcast to every nation and translated into every language. The message was simple and direct. Citizens of Earth, we face an enemy that wants to destroy our world and everyone on it. Alien ships are coming to our system with weapons powerful enough to kill our planet. But we will not surrender and we will not run. We will fight for our home and our future with everything we have. The reaction was immediate and overwhelming. Cities that should have been consumed by panic instead filled with volunteers who wanted to help defend their world. Factories that had been secretly building weapons revealed themselves and began working around the clock. Air Force Colonel Peter Kane commanded atmospheric defenses that had been prepared for the battle. Fighter jets carried new weapons based on alien technology, while surface installations charged energy shields that could protect major population centers. The people of Earth learned that their governments had been preparing for this day for months. Secret space stations and hidden weapon platforms were revealed as humanity's true space program emerged from the shadows. As the Council fleet approached the edge of the solar system, Kethmer was confident that the battle would be brief and decisive. His ships outgunned and outnumbered human defenses by overwhelming margins. The High Admiral had conquered dozens of worlds for the Council and never faced serious resistance. Primitive species always collapsed when confronted with superior technology and firepower. But as his fleet prepared to jump into Earth's inner system, something went wrong. Quantum disruptors activated simultaneously across hundreds of hidden installations. Alien jump drives throughout the Council fleet suddenly failed. As subspace fields collapsed around every ship, Kethmer watched his tactical display in shock. As 300 warships dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the solar system instead of appearing directly round Earth, the humans had somehow developed technology that could interfere with Council jump driven. No, his fleet would have to travel through normal space to reach Earth. The journey would take hours and give human defenses time to prepare for battle. Worse, the humans had used those hours well. As Council ships moved toward the inner system, they encountered automated defense platforms and minefields that had been placed throughout the solar system. First Council casualties came from weapons that the aliens could barely detect until they exploded. Human mines used stealth technology that made them invisible to alien sensors until they were close enough to detonate. Morrison's Aurora appeared from behind an asteroid and launched a surprise attack on one of the Council supply ships. The human vessel crippled the alien ship and escaped before the escort vessels could respond. Admiral Parker watched the battle begin from her command center on Earth. The quantum disruptors had worked perfectly, and now the Council fleet was exactly where human defenders wanted them. All ships, this is Admiral Parker. She broadcast to Earth's defenders, the enemy is trapped in our system, and they have to come through us to reach Earth. Make them pay for every mile. The Battle of Seoul began when the first Council warships reached the outer defense perimeter and opened fire on human orbital platforms. Energy beams that could melt asteroids struck defensive shields while human railguns returned fire with projectiles moving at significant fractions of light speed. Captain Foster led the first wave of human ships in a desperate charge against the alien battle line. His Valor and 12 other vessels accelerated directly toward the Council fleet, while every weapon they carried blazed with deadly light. Human attack looked like suicide to the alien commanders, but Foster had studied Morrison's intelligence reports carefully. Council ships were most vulnerable when they focused their shields forward to protect against incoming fire. As the human ships approached the alien line, they suddenly split into multiple attack vectors. Half the ships continued their frontal assault, while the others swung around to attack from the sides and rear. Council shields that had been configured to stop frontal attacks were weaker against flanking maneuvers. Human weapons punched through alien defenses and damaged several major warships. Before the enemy could reconfigure their defensive systems bit, the cost was terrible. 5 human ships were destroyed in the first exchange, while 3 others suffered critical damage. Foster watched good friends die as their ships exploded under alien fire, but he could not stop to mourn. Battle raged across the entire solar system as human defenders fought desperately against overwhelming odds. Commander Diana Price led her battle group in hit-and-run attacks against Council supply lines, while Captain Alex Morgan's ships provided covering fire for damaged human vessels. Morrison's Aurora had become legendary among both human and alien forces. The small ship appeared wherever the fighting was fiercest and struck at enemy weak points with surgical precision. Aurora had been modified with captured alien technology. During months of guerrilla warfare, its shields were stronger and its weapons more powerful than any other human vessel. But more importantly, Morrison and his crew had learned to think like their enemies in Earth's surface cities, prepared for orbital bombardment as Council ships pushed deeper into the solar system. President Hayes coordinated with military leaders worldwide while emergency shelters filled with civilians who refused to evacuate their planetary force. Colonel Peter Kane launched atmospheric fighters to intercept alien ships that approached Earth's upper atmosphere. His pilots flew modified jets armed with weapons based on Council technology. Captured by Morrison's crew, aerial battles were unlike anything in human history, as fighters designed for atmospheric combat engaged alien vessels in the edge of space. Many pilots died, but they proved that human determination could overcome technological disadvantage. Lisa Grant monitored alien communications from her position aboard Admiral Parker's command ship. What she heard gave her hope that humanity might survive the battle. Several Council species were expressing doubt about the wisdom of their attack on Earth. The Volturi Republic and the Centauri Alliance had lost more ships than expected, and their commanders were questioning whether destroying humanity was worth such a high cost. Aliens had expected to crush human resistance quickly and easily. Instead, they found themselves in a prolonged battle against enemies who refused to surrender and seemed to get stronger with each engagement. Admiral Kethmer watched his tactical display with growing concern as Council casualties mounted. His fleet still outnumbered human forces, but the margin was shrinking with each hour of combat. More troubling was the fact that human tactics were improving as the battle continued. Earth's defenders learned from each engagement and adapted their strategies to exploit alien weakness. Turning point came when engineer Maya Rodriguez activated Earth's experimental planetary shield. Hidden generators around the globe powered a defensive barrier that protected major population centers from orbital bombardment. The shield technology was based on alien designs captured by Morrison, but improved by human engineering. It was stronger and more efficient than anything the Council had ever built. Kethmer ordered his heavy bombardment ships to target the shield generators, but found them protected by layers of defensive systems. Human fighters and orbital platforms created a defensive network that made it impossible to destroy the planetary shield quickly. As the battle entered its third day, human boarding parties began attacking damaged Council ships. Sergeant Kevin Walsh led Marine assault teams that used captured alien equipment to breach enemy hulls. Boarding actions were brutal close combat affairs, where human determination and adaptability proved more important than advanced technology. Corporal Julie Adams and her squad captured an entire alien cruiser after a 6-hour firefight. Through its corridors, each captured alien ship provided new technology and intelligence that helped human forces fight more effectively. The weapons and defensive systems were quickly studied and copied by Earth's engineers. Nathan Cross worked frantically in his underground laboratory to understand captured alien technology while the battle raged overhead. Each new piece of equipment revealed secrets that advanced human science by decades. But the greatest breakthrough came when human forces captured a Council command ship with its computer systems intact. The alien databases contained detailed information about Council politics and military organization. What Dr. Grant learned from the alien computers changed everything. The Council was not united in their decision to destroy humanity. Several species had voted against the extermination plan, but had been overruled. By the more aggressive factions, the Volturi Republic had only agreed to participate because they feared being excluded from council decisions. The Centauri Alliance was growing tired of the costly military campaign and wanted to negotiate a peaceful solution. More importantly, the council had underestimated human capabilities in every possible way. Their intelligence reports described Earth as a primitive world with no advanced technology or military organization. The reality they encountered was completely different. Humans had developed quantum disruptor technology that the council did not possess. Human ships were smaller, but faster and more maneuverable than alien vessels. Most importantly, human crews fought with a determination that alien forces could not match. As the battle continued, Admiral Parker received reports that some council ships were withdrawing from combat. The moderate alien species were losing faith in their aggressive allies and beginning to question the entire campaign. President Hayes saw an opportunity and ordered Ellen Murphy to broadcast a message to the alien fleet. Her words were transmitted in several alien languages that Dr. Grant had learned during months of studying council communications. Council forces, this is Ellen Murphy speaking for the government of Earth. We offer you the chance to end this battle honorably. Withdraw your forces and we will negotiate terms that benefit both our species. The message created chaos in the council fleet as different species argued about whether to continue fighting or accept human terms. Some alien commanders wanted to press the attack while others believed that humanity had proven their right to exist. Admiral Kethmer faced the hardest decision of his military career as his fleet suffered losses that made victory increasingly costly. The message from Counselor Zathara of the Volturi Republic reached Earth on the fourth day of battle, when human defenses were nearly broken and alien casualties had reached unacceptable levels for several council species. People of Earth, this is Counselor Zathara speaking for the moderate faction of the Galactic Council. We propose an immediate ceasefire and negotiations to end this destructive conflict. Admiral Parker received the alien message while coordinating the defense of Earth's orbital platforms. Half of humanity's warships had been destroyed or damaged beyond repair, but the surviving crews continued to fight with desperate courage. Captain Foster's valor was barely operational after 3 days of continuous combat, but he still led the remaining human ships in attacks against council positions. His crew had become legends among both human and alien forces for their refusal to surrender. The ceasefire proposal created immediate division within the council fleet as moderate species began withdrawing their ships from combat while aggressive factions demanded that the attack continue. High Admiral Kethmer watched his fleet dissolve as political arguments replaced military discipline. The Volturi Republic and Centauri Alliance had already pulled their vessels back to defensive positions, while 3 other species threatened to do the same. The alien commander faced a choice that would define his legacy. He could order the remaining loyal ships to continue the attack on Earth, knowing that victory would come at a terrible cost, or he could accept that the Council's plan had failed. Commander Morrison's Rora chose that moment to launch the most audacious attack of the entire battle. The small human ship accelerated directly toward Kethmer's flagship while broadcasting a challenge that every alien vessel could hear. High Admiral, this is Commander Morrison of the Earth ship Rora. I challenge you to single combat. If I win, you withdraw your fleet and leave our system. If you win, humanity will surrender. The challenge was absurd by any military standard, but it captured the attention of every warrior in both fleets. Morrison had become a symbol of human defiance, and his personal challenge to the Council's supreme commander carried weight beyond its military significance. Ikatham accepted the challenge because he believed his superior firepower and advanced shields would make victory certain. He ordered his flagship to meet the human vessel in open space while both fleets watched the duel between Morrison's Aurora and Kethmer's massive flagship should have been over in minutes. The alien warship carried weapons that could destroy the human vessel with a single hit, while its shields should have been impervious to Aurora's lighter armament. But Morrison had spent months learning to fight aliens, and his ship carried modifications based on captured Council technology. More importantly, he was fighting for the survival of his species while Kethmer was following orders He no longer believed the battle between the two ships lasted for 30 minutes, as Morrison used every trick he had learned during months of guerrilla warfare. He attacked from unexpected angles and used the flagship's size against it while avoiding the aliens' heaviest weapons. The decisive moment came when Aurora's modified weapons finally penetrated the flagship's forward shields. Morrison's next salvo disabled the alien ship's main engines and left it helpless before the smaller human vessel Kethmer could have continued fighting with his remaining weapons. But he recognized something in Morrison's tactics that reminded him of his own early military career. The human commander was a warrior who deserved respect, not destruction. The alien admiral surrendered his ship and ordered the entire Council fleet to stand down. President Hayes received the surrender notification while coordinating relief efforts for battle-damaged cities around Earth. The cost of victory had been enormous, but humanity had survived their first test. As a galactic specimen, Murphy led the negotiating team that met with moderate council representatives to establish terms for ending the conflict. The talks took place aboard a neutral space station, while damaged ships from both sides underwent repairs. The agreement that emerged from those negotiations transformed Earth from a target for destruction into an equal member of galactic civilization. The Soul Accords granted humanity full membership in a reformed galactic council, with voting rights equal to any other species. More importantly, the moderate council species agreed to help humanity develop advanced technology in exchange for access to human innovations like quantum disruptors and planetary shield systems. The aggressive species that had initiated the plan to destroy Earth found themselves isolated and forced to accept human terms. Their military leaders were removed from command, while their governments faced political upheaval from citizens who questioned the wisdom of their leaders. Admiral Parker oversaw the reconstruction of Earth's defenses while planning humanity's expansion into deep space. The secret military programs that had saved Earth during the battle became the foundation for a new age of human exploration. Comrade Morrison received promotion to Admiral and command of Earth's first deep space exploration fleet. His crew had become heroes throughout human space and symbols of the determination that had saved their species. Aurora was retired to a place of honor in Earth's orbital museums, but Morrison's legacy lived on in every human who ventured into the dangerous galaxy beyond their solar system. Captain Foster took command of the rebuilt defense fleet that would protect Earth from future threats. His experience fighting aliens made him the ideal leader for humanity's space forces as they prepared for whatever challenges the galaxy might bring. Maya Rodriguez led the engineering teams that combined human and alien technology to create ships and weapons more advanced than either species had built alone. The cooperation between humans and moderate council species produced innovations that benefited everyone. Nathan Cross established research programs that would advance human science by centuries within decades. The captured alien technology and willing cooperation from friendly species gave Earth access to knowledge that had taken other civilizations millennia to develop it. The most important change was in how other species viewed humanity. Councils plan to wipe out Earth had failed not because humans had superior technology or overwhelming numbers, but because they had refused to give up. Every alien species now knew that humans would fight for their survival with courage that could overcome any disadvantage. The galaxy was no longer a place where advanced civilizations could destroy primitive worlds without consequence. Humanity had proven that determination and unity could triumph over technological superiority and numerical advantage. Earth's victory created a new balance of power in galactic politics, as other young species looked to humanity as proof that they could resist council authority if necessary. The age of unquestioned alien dominance was over as the first anniversary of the Battle of Seoul approached. President Hayes addressed the people of Earth and the galaxy beyond. His words were broadcast to every world and species that belonged to the reformed Galactic Council. 1 year ago, we faced extinction at the hands of those who believed they had the right to judge our species unworthy of existence. We proved them wrong not through conquest or aggression, but through our refusal to surrender our freedom and our future. Today, humanity stands as an equal among the stars, and we will help ensure that no other species faces the choice between submission and destruction.